this?
I have a right to be here. This is where I work. No, this is my workplace. This is where I work. I'm teaching here. Here's the...
We're glad to escort you in if you want.
Now, this is what I'm faced with again this morning. And Mr. Justice Cregan knew well this morning that this is what I would be up against when I come to this school. He knew where I'd be this morning.
Yes.
And I would just say to people this morning, it's not true what Mr. Justice Cregan said yesterday
100%.
about his motivations for letting me out. That is simply not true. He knew where I would be here, and I would ask people to reflect on that. I should never have been in prison in the first place. This is my workplace, this is where I teach. Right. He should be exalting the Constitution. It's a nonsense to say that he let me out. I'm here at my workplace this morning to say, and I have the order here, to say that he's letting me out to focus. That's an insult, I say, to our institutions. It's an insult to the prison service. It's an insult to the people that are in prison doing their time for their crimes or whatever they went through. That is an insult, I say. You don't let people out of prison for those reasons. You do not let people out.
You're blocking the game. You're blocking the game.
Relax there.
You're blocking the game.
You're
blocking the game.
And he's letting me out because of what happened at the DAP.
You're blocking the game.
He's letting me out because lies have been told about me. Lies have been told about me, and it's all come out that it was a shambles. That's all come out. No cross-examination. No questions asked. And you rationale when you go in the door.
Let the man speak. Let the man speak.
And you rationale when you go in the door.
Let him out. Let him out.
The decision maker, Miss Geraldine O'Brien, the vice president of the ASCI, saying that whatever somebody would tell her to call, whatever the principal would say to call a child, he, she, they, that's what she means.
Let the man speak.
That is who I had to sit before. It was a shambles. And you know why there was so much cover-up? You know why there was so much? Because it's not true. It's not true. They have to find something else. I'm here alone today, coming to my workplace. I just come here every day. I don't know anybody else. I'm just coming to do my job here. And I'm coming in here to do a day's work. And that's what I've always done. The reason that I was brought to the court, the reason that a stage 4 report was brought to me was simply because I said no. I could not call a young boy they. And you know, everybody knows in this country, it's anti-Christ, it's anti-Christian, but as well as that, it's nonsense. It's absolutely ludicrous. It's insane. It's insane that a teacher would have to call a young boy they. And everybody in this country knows that well. And this is happening in our schools. It's not just in this school where I teach. It's in every school in the country. It's a silent terror behind the classroom door. Ireland's being changed, against the will of the people, against the Constitution. We have an inalienable right in this country to freedom of conscience and the free profession and practice of religion. That means your religion. What do you believe in? You have a right to that. I'm a person of conscience. We've seen the judges in this country. It seems they don't have a conscience. They can tell lies. They can tell lies about why they're releasing me yesterday. They can tell lies about why they put me in the first place. I have a conscience. And I'm grateful for anyone in this country who does have a conscience. And I have a right to practice that because it's a good thing. And it's the health of the country and it's the health of society. But what we have here today is a disgrace. It's a disgrace that I'm being blocked here from entering my place of work by this man, and it was well known that this would happen by the judge. It was well known by the judge that this would happen.
There's a lady trying to get in there.
It was absolutely
There's a lady trying to get in there.
Well known.
There's a lady trying to get in there.
To the media.
There's a lady trying to get in there. There's a lady trying to get in there.
I come here to do my work. I'm trying to get in here, yes. I'm coming here to do my work. The media have a role to do. And I keep a distance from the media. I've always respected media and the role of media in the country. The history of media is a wonderful history. Thomas Jefferson once said that he'd rather have a country without a government than a country without media, because your job is to educate the public, and he knew that, the value of educating the public on the truth. But from the first day here, the media have not held the government to account. They've not held the judges to account. They have not held them to account. I was subjected to a stage 4 report here. A stage 4. That's for the worst possible crimes. Yeah. You know,
the media
theft, harassment, damage to property. That's what I was subjected to, all because I wouldn't accept transgenderism. That was illegal. You know, you cannot subject somebody to that kind of a disciplinary process. And that was wrong. It was manifestly wrong. And that has not been thrashed out and dealt with and investigated properly by you, the media, who are supposed to hold the government to account, and our judges in this country to account. And you can look at, excuse me, you can look at the order here. It says that it appearing to the court that it is in the interests of justice to afford Enoch Burke an opportunity to focus and prepare for the said application. That is ludicrous. That is ridiculous. This man is on €250,000. That's 5 times the average industrial wage. It's 10 times the minimum wage, probably. And his job is to exalt the Constitution and to defend the rights, to vindicate the rights of the citizens when they come before the court. And they're not simply being held to account. They're not being held to account. I'm doing my duty here today, this morning. I'm coming to my workplace where I work. But there is a rule of the media to hold the power brokers in society to account. And I would encourage the media to fulfil that rule. I have a duty to perform here this morning. That's why I'm here. I'm here at my workplace.
None of the media echoed the
They're satanic, Enoch. The media are satanic.
Thank you.
Enoch, do you accept that you're going to be returned to Mountjoy?
Well, I've been in and out now, wrongfully, of prison. When this matter first came to court, it was the Board of Management that brought me to court, not the other way around. I had no intention, I had no desire of going to court. And when that came to the court, the judge acquiesced and said it wasn't about transgenderism. It was about the way I did it, which has been proven false now by the Court of Appeal. So the first time, that's why I was put in prison the first time. And since then, it's a carnival going in and out. As I said, it's an insult to the institutions of the state. We have institutions. We have the courts. We have the prison service in the back of that, I suppose, enforce it. We have the guards. This is an insult now from beginning to end to the institutions of our state. And it's becoming increasingly clear, the DAP a shambles. A shambles. Natural justice thrown out the door. A cover-up. So this is an insult from beginning. So asking me about, I think the public are quite clear now on exactly what the issue is here. I said no, I can't do that. And it's wrong that around this country, men and women and boys and girls are afraid to say no. I just don't agree that a boy can become a girl, or a they, or something else. I just don't believe that.
That's wrong.
Can you describe the conditions inside Mountjoy and what they're like for you?
Look, prison is a morbid,
horrible place
regime. That's what it is. And I think the conditions of prison are well known. I'm behind the door for 20 hours a day. Suddenly today, no, I'm not, and we don't have a clear reason why. But I think we know why. And I would encourage people simply not to believe this judge when he says it's for this or that reason. That's not true. It's because the DAP was a shambles, and that's clear now. And it's an attempt to simply distract from that.
What about your appeal, Enoch, against your dismissal?
Well, as I said, it's a shambles. Yeah. It's a shambles. It's an absolute shambles. The 3 people who are there protecting Principal Niamh McShane, I'm not allowed to ask her any questions. I mean, I've never heard of a situation like that where you'd have some kind of hearing or a court hearing where you simply weren't allowed to ask Principal Niamh McShane any questions. And the reason for that is a new rationale to start trying to make out new reasons for why I was supposedly suspended at the start. And the reason for all that is because they can't talk about the reason, which is that it was because of transgenderism. And it's simply an attempt to distract from that. But it's terrible that, and I'm conscious in these situations, it's not just me. There are loads of other people around the country who have to go through different tribunals, different processes of investigation. And it's wrong that the person who's looking for justice would have to suddenly become some kind of, be investigating the investigators. That's terrible. In a country like ours, a democratic country, you should be going in confident, reasonably confident, that, you know, the natural rules, the basic procedures will be upheld. You'll be allowed to ask questions. Lies won't be told about the start, about the investigation, and that the decision makers will be unbiased. That should be a given. That should be a given.
I'd just like to thank you very much for everything you've done, Enoch. Fantastic work, right? The whole country's behind you, as far as I can make out. The people that are speaking out are being silenced by the
Thank you.
mainstream
I have
media.
work to do, so if you just let me go into my workplace here, I have a job to
Why
do
you stand
here.
so close anyway? You're not welcome.
No, I am. This is my workplace, and it's wrong what you were doing. That is wrong what you were doing. It's unlawful. No, it's not my opinion. I'm entitled to my rights.
You're not allowed in.
I'm entitled to my rights.
You're not allowed in.
And what you are doing is wrong.
illegal.
It is wrong what you are doing. It's wrong. But you're blocking me. I should be in my classroom this morning teaching the students in their German and history. That's what I should be doing, and you know that.